gamers from devastation to play games made in a foreign nation, to denounce the errors while wearing this glove. The games aren't all bad, well, sort of. Team Yaocket Grunt playing games that violate copyright! Actually, I give up. These games are right!
I am suffering! End my plight!
Hello, and welcome to Bootleg Rocket Grunt Corner. The bootleg that we'll be looking at today is called Pokemon Bronze version. And honestly, this is like the least bootleggy bootleg that I've looked at to date. Normally the content of these videos is me pointing at stuff in the game and saying, haha, you don't see that in a real Pokemon game. But with a few notable exceptions, I could really see this being released by Nintendo. All the grammar is spot on, the apostrophes are in the right places, thank goodness. Hardly any misspellings, honestly. No cringeworthy dialogue. This could be a real Pokemon game. So I'm really excited to show it to you. So the biggest reason I'm playing this game is because, dang it, I want to play a gold and silver hack, and this is the first one that popped up on a list. Well, actually, technically, Pyrite is the first one that popped up on the list, but it's basically just gold and silver with higher levels. And I didn't figure that one out until I popped it into my GameCube. But much like gold, it starts out with Professor Oak telling you, welcome to the world of Pokemon! Now, one of the suggested names is in fact Bronze, and I almost went with that. But then I thought of something even better. And as for you clever ducklings out there, you're gonna like this. I went and I named myself Copper. You're gonna want to remember that for later. So you can guess what I named my rival before I actually name her. Well, I start my journey. They have me tell the time, I get my Pokegear, but before I go to see the professor, I check out my N64, and hey, it's got Banjo-Tooie. That's cool. Now I head on over to the professor. Professor Koa. I don't know what that is. Is that a tree? Is it Campgrounds of America? I don't know. All I know is that he wants me to go on a Pokemon adventure, and there are 3 starter choices. Charmander, Totodile, and Pichu. I'm feeling in a Gen 2 mood, so I'll take the Totodile, and I head on out. So first off, I head to an underground passage. It allows me to go to Kanto. Unfortunately, I can't really get past Viridian City. But the thing is, Koa wanted me to stop by and get something from Professor Oak first. But in Pallet Town, you can meet some characters. First off is Blue Sister Daisy, and she offers you a map. And you can even meet Red, who is silent as ever. And you look over there, it's his legendary Pikachu. Another character that I met that I thought was pretty clever was... You know the technology guy, the one who says, technology is amazing, right? Well, his changed dialogue put a big dorky smile on my big goofy face. So I grab the thing from Oak and I head on back. On my way back, though, I meet my rival, a high-strung and fun girl, and she chose the Pichu. And since she had elemental attack, I was pretty much out of luck. But one thing that I really liked is the simple choice of just having her run away in a really erratic pattern that could really sell her on being hyper. Very clever decision. So I make it back to Koa, who wants me to complete the Pokedex, and I head off. Well, first, my rival's sister comes in and says that she's related, and asks me the name. And this is where I get to name her, and I went with... Tin. And with those naming conventions selected, all of my Pokemon would be getting names from the periodic table of elements. Now, I didn't say it earlier, but my Totodile is actually named Tungsten. So I make it to the first town in a little bit of trouble because Tungsten was poisoned. But I think if I try, I can just barely make it to the Pokemon Center before the poison overtakes me. Whoa, hey, let me go! No, I need to heal! Stop! I also make my way over to the lighthouse and find something interesting with the trainers. First up is Aaron with a weird spelling. But I know an Aaron is spelled with an A. But the next trainer is... Barry? Hold on for one darn second. I swear, if this last trainer is Danny's... Oh, wow. John. Right, this came out in 2013. That's cool nonetheless. So, in the first city, I challenged a gym leader, and this is a pretty cool thing. There is a lot of custom art for the trainers in this game. All 8 of the leaders are originals. This first one is Sarah. She uses water type, so she doesn't really have a type advantage on me, so I can easily take her. I even evolved Tungsten, but I had better start collecting some other Pokemon so I don't just steamroll everyone. Besides, John had a Fakemon. If I see one of those, I'll be picking it up. But for now, I'll settle for Marie, and I'll name him after the Roman god of messages, Mercury. Alright, now it's time to head through a cave. Before I enter, a guy asks me if I'm afraid of the dark, and I say yes, and he tells me to deal with it, and hands me the pair of black glasses. Also in this cave, I find another one of my favorite Gen 2 Pokemon, Gligar. I named him Gallium. The next gym was far more in line with the Pokemon game. The leader was named Weedy, and most of his trainers and his signs made weed puns about him overgrowing and overtaking me, but I really appreciate this. But Weedy, he was tough for me to fight. With water and electricity, I wasn't going to be doing too much. I suppose Gligar could have been useful, but he didn't know any flying type moves, and all of the grass types we faced had poison as a secondary typing. After that, I started adding people to my Pokephone. But I quickly abandoned that because the same trainer called me literally 5 times in 6 minutes. Once, she told me that her Vulpix had a type advantage against a Wooper. Really, that actually is pretty amazing. Can we never speak again? Can that be arranged? Good, brilliant. In this next route is where I see Plum Bloom, and since it's the only Fakemon here, I decided I need it for this video. So I took it and I named it Plutonium. Okay, so this route was super long, but the next city was damaged in the landslide. I can't heal. I did not like this at all. There's not really an important reason to bring this up, except that they have you fight your rival immediately after you see that Pokemon Center and you just cry. Or at least I would have cried, but like after I saw the Pokemon Center, I defiantly trudged all the way back to the other Pokemon Center, and then I came back, and then we had this fight. And it went pretty well. Alright, well what happened when I got to the next city? Well, it had the slot machines, which I wasn't really interested in. And it had Bianca's fire-type gym, which I was very interested in. And it had the department store, which was pretty cool, but it also housed this game's criminal enterprise. The only problem is that every time you enter the basement, it moves around the blocks, and I didn't know this. So I went down, looked around, and said, nowhere to go. This is pointless. So after searching a lot of time, fruitlessly, I checked a walkthrough, and it said, oh yeah, no, you just enter that room enough times and then randomly you'll be able to actually enter the Enterprise. That's really dumb!
Team Rocket are quitters. Team Racket will take the world by storm.
No! Take it back!
Ow. Next we run into whatever that thing is. There is a girl right next to it who says she wouldn't even touch it with a big stick, which is very cool because now if I get a big stick, I'll know exactly where I have to go. Next city does some stuff that you would not see in a real Pokemon game. You see, there's an uncertified gym here run by local hero Flynn. He's the hero because a couple of years ago, he drove off a missingno infestation. I really don't think that Nintendo likes drawing attention to one of video game's biggest glitches. But hey, Flynn's one tough cookie. I actually had to grind for about an hour before I can even consider taking him on. Flynn also isn't as cool as the uncertified gym in Pokemon Red or Blue, because it's not optional to take him on. You have to, because he gives you HM04 strength for your reward. Now I go on over to the next town, who has the electric leader, who prides himself on not making electricity puns. He's a little tough to beat, but definitely doable. And then while I was talking around town, I find an old man whose grandson is watching TV.
TV? Peh! Back in my day, we made our own fun, using sticks and stones off the ground.
Copper, receive the big stick! I know what to do! So I rushed back to the lady who said not to touch the thing, and it's a missingno.
I must have it.
And I don't think the game wants you to have it. This freaking one-of-a-kind Pokemon knows Whirlwind. If it hits you, it just scuttles off. I tried paralyzing it and using Sand Attack 6 times, but it still managed to hit me. Not to mention it has an insanely low catch rate. Finally, after like an hour of it just running away from me, I said screw it and ran back to the department store and bought a fastball. And just restarted the battle over and over like I was looking for a gosh dang shiny legendary. It took well over half an hour, but I finally caught it and whoa. Oh, maybe I should have used the heavy ball. 3,507.2 pounds. I didn't realize I was trying to catch Yo Mama. Nope, I was trying to catch magnesium. I also found a consistent glitch to destroy the color palette of the game. You know, I should have recorded all the footage after missingno like this. Okay, so the game gets a little tougher from here on out. It might be because I'm training 5 Pokemon now, but the levels are definitely passing me. Also, I want to point out that Gligar is completely worthless without his Gen 4 evolution. Alright, now we get into a cave, which I did need to waste a move slot on Flash for, because, you know, you've seen my other videos, and I'm able to fake my way through the caves. Gen 2, no, you really can't fake your way through it, so Flash and, go through. Once we get through it, the team rack is like attacking a tower. I beat them all up, and then I go through a forest. And this forest had a cool gimmick. Super easy, and it's not much of a puzzle, but there are these big old rocks blocking the path. And you gotta find these plungers. You go ahead and push the plunger, and the screen will shake, an explosion will sound, and the rock will disappear. It takes a little bit longer to get through the forest this way, but dang, if blowing stuff up isn't cool! Alright, next city has something unique that I really liked. 2 gyms, ran by 2 siblings, with 2 different views on how to run a gym. Elroy has a huge gym with lots of trainers, and his sister Carla has a simple gym with just her and her birds. I wouldn't call either particularly hard, in fact the whole game has been unreasonably reasonable. Not too hard or simple. There was a little pushback with Flynn, but I like a little bit of pushback. I've really enjoyed this whole game's difficulty curve, and now I just have one more gym leader to defeat. So I get to the next town's gym leader and fight through my trainers, and this has been a thing I've noticed with bootlegs that I really despise. The 8th gym leader being a psychic type. That means I have to fight an absurdly strong Alakazam that usually knows Recover. And with this one, I cannot do over half of its HP with one attack. But Toxic can. Yes, my reward from the last gym was not only the badge, but the TM for Toxic. I popped it onto Missingnos and just watch that life drain away. Beautiful. After the victory, the leader told me he'd be happy to give me the badge. But Team Racket, those ruffians done jacked it. Yeah, I didn't mention it, but Team Racket was blocking off the abandoned train station. Tin, she had a sick Pokemon, and I overheard a Team Racket member bragging over the phone about stealing some badges. Now, I head back to the train station. I rough them all up, and I am presented with the badge. And let me say this, Pokemon Bronze version has had some really cool scenarios to work through. And now that I have all 8 badges, I can head back to Kanto, where I can finally enter Viridian City and then go on over to the Elite Four. And honestly, how good or bad a bootleg is usually comes down to the Victory Road. So what did we have, Gemma? Well, Baba, we have a huge cave filled with powerful Pokemon, but 1 max repel should be enough. Yes, Chet did not get distracted by any of the items, and there wasn't a single trainer. Baba, I think we may have a perfect Victory Road. Thanks, Gemma. Well, all that's left now is the Elite Four, and we have a very cool group, no pun intended, because the first competitor is Price, Mongany City's gym leader from Gold and Silver. His experience and skill with Ice-type Pokemon allowed him to give Will the boot, and he is a tough nut to crack. Seriously, I have nothing for Ice-type Pokemon. It took me about 2 hours to gain enough experience to finally beat this dude. Which brought us to Koga. Nice touch. Poison is another one of those types that I have no answer for, so another 2 hours was required to finally beat him down as well. Now we get to meet Bruno. His rock types are no problem for me, but I always arrive in what could be described as a less than ideal state. In fact, I'd say it'd take an additional 2 hours to get to him consistently. But when I do that with my water Pokemon, he goes down easily, and then it's time for a nice change of pace. We get to Karen, a Dark-type user, and on my first go, somehow, my damaged Feraligatr took out 4 of her Pokemon, and then I decided, this is the one. This is the run that I win on. So I use Revives to carry myself through the battle, then I pump some Ethers and Elixirs into my Pokemon for the final battle. Rin Tin Tin! She starts out with a real emotional gut punch. Remember how I briefly mentioned that she had a sick Pokemon? Yeah. Her starter died. I actually felt real bad throughout the entire fight, even though it was the easiest one yet. She has lots of different Pokemon types. I was able to switch through my Pokemon to get type advantage, and one after another, they all fell. I don't think a single Pokemon lasted more than 3 turns. Until the level 55 Celebi! I decided that just using Toxic would be an unhonorable way to win, especially since it only used Future Sight over and over and over. The fight was a little bit of a letdown, but the fact that I was able to be shook the whole time from her Pichu dying was a pretty cool experience that I kind of treasure. But hey, it's like Professor Koa says, it shows that you both true Ellie. There we go. There's a misspelling. And That's Pokemon Bronze version. I gotta be 100% honest, I really enjoyed this game. I think you could hand it to someone who doesn't know too much about Pokemon, and they might think that was a real Pokemon game. The challenges point on, the scenarios were a lot of fun. True Ellie, a wonderful experience. And with that, I'm blasting off again!